And today we have two special guests. We have Eric James from the CrustyBunkers comic book store. Who it's about to open in Burbank officially. And so we have Joel Adams, son of Neal Adams, because the CrustyBunkers is actually Neal Adams' kind of store, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, introduce yourself. This is Eric.
How you doing? I'm Eric James.
And are you the manager of it, or
I'm just one of the henchmen.
you're the henchman? Okay. and then you got Joel.
Yeah, I'm Joel Adams. I'm trying to think of what my title would be. I don't really have a title there. I work out of the studio. I help to run the studio in the store.
Oh, okay.
So I've been locked in there and watched things change.
Yeah.
He's our go-to captain.
The go-to
Go
captain.
Captain. Okay. It's a honor to have you here.
Thank you very much.
So a lot of people might not know who Neal Adams is, but you might have seen his work. So first of all, I just want to start with everybody. I asked everybody like how you kind of got into the art field that you got into. So if any of you guys want to start first.
Being that Neal is my dad, I grew up around art, so it seemed a very, very natural thing for me to get into. I grew up around Continuity Studios, grew up around all the artists that worked there, grew up around the industry, so it seemed natural for me to go into art. I went to school at School of Visual Arts in New York, spent my first year out of school at Neal Adams' New York studio, where I did storyboards and commercial art and stuff like that. Moved to Los Angeles to help run the LA office, which was the one on Magnolia Boulevard, and after a few years, I moved out on my own, and I got involved in doing my own storyboards, got involved in doing licensing art, did licensing for everything from Power Rangers to Harry Potter.
Wow.
And then I got a call one day of a studio looking for an artist who knew anatomy really well and who could work really fast, and I went to try out for it. It turned out to be the Incredible Hulk.
Oh.
So that was my first. That was my first jaunt into to animation.
Oh, okay.
And it was character design. So it wasn't really animation. It was drawing the model sheets.
Right.
And we got put on hiatus for the Incredible Hulk, and we're unsure about how soon we were coming back. And another studio was looking for somebody, so everybody said, "Go over there and check that out." And that turned out to be King of the Hill.
Ah, okay.
So that was a nice 3-year run for me designing King of the Hill. It was such a great crew and cast. I mean, it was a great. The Film Roman was just such a wonderful studio, and Phil was a great guy, and everybody who worked there, they were super talented and super friendly, funny people. So I had a blast over there, and then went from there to Saban Entertainment, where I did NASCAR racers, and did more licensing there. I went back into doing Power Ranger licensing again while I was there, and a show called Los Luchadores, did licensing for that. And then I came back around to working for Neal again. He started doing animation there. We were doing 3D animation. We were doing the Nasonex B. There was a Nasonex B that had Antonio Banderas' voice. And we were animating those, so I became kind of the in-house producer, in-house director of the stuff at the studio. And I've kind of been there since.
Oh, okay.
And now we've kind of come around. The industry's changed a lot, and now it's become a store.
Okay.
Because we own the building.
Right.
So it's like, well, what do we do next? What are we going to do next? And we were doing a lot of conventions, and we got into doing sales and selling stuff.
Right.
So Neal got the idea to let's do a comic shop, and started out originally as just a Neal Adams store, and now it's now when we have the grand opening, it'll be a full-fledged comic store.
And when is the grand opening exactly?
July 13th.
July 13th.
One week before San Diego Comic-Con.
Ah, okay. So make sure you come to that. So you said you did the character designs for King of the Hill, like all the characters? Or
Yeah, first 3 years.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So now you're working there. You're working on other things.
Well, because I'm still doing conventions, I'm still doing projects, I'm doing covers for comics now. I'm dabbling in the comic book world, so I'm still working out of there, and I'm keeping an eye on the store at the same time.
Oh, okay. And if you just joined us, this is Neal Adams' son, Joel Adams, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So are your brothers? Do you have a sister or?
I have two sisters and two brothers, and everybody is creative in their own way. My youngest brother Josh does comics and he does storyboards. My sister Zia was a video editor, and now she's doing watercolor paintings and stuff like that.
Okay.
She's also coloring comic books. Then there's Jason, who was a sculptor, worked for toy companies and stuff like that. Now he runs the online Neal Adams store, which has been around forever now, the Neal Adams store. And Christine runs all the studios. She's sort of the person in charge, and she was the publisher when we did Continuity Comics.
Oh, okay. Wow. So everybody grew up pretty creative with the dad that's in comics, so.
Yeah. Well, because we were allowed to be creative.
Right.
I like, because I meet a lot of families at conventions. They say, "Oh, it must be in your blood. It must be, and I say, no. I think all little kids can draw. I think all little kids have talent. It's just sooner or later, most little kids are told to do their math homework.
Right.
And if I wanted to draw, I was encouraged to draw.
Oh, are there any? Now you said the opening is going to be.
The opening is going to be July 13th. It's basically the easiest way to remember it. It's the Saturday before San Diego Comic-Con starts.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna, Neal's gonna be there, and we're gonna have a lot of different things going on.
Great.
I think it's gonna be a great event for everybody. Like I think that one of the coolest things about what we've been talking about when making Neal Adams CrustyBunker is that everyone's welcome.
Yeah, right.
So
I
let's
got
say you've
that, yeah.
been in comics and you're the biggest Neal Adams fan. You've been in comics since 1960, whatever. Or let's say you just started comics last week, or you just saw Endgame and you're like, I want to see Source. Come on down.
Yeah.
Come on through. You don't have to be an expert. We want every spectrum of fan, every
Right.
spectrum of creative there.
Yeah.
July 13th, I think, is just going to be a fun celebration of just fandom. It's kind of like the reason why I think everyone should go to a Comic-Con, even if you don't like comic books.
Right.
It's really cool to go anywhere and watch thousands and thousands of people getting along. Different people liking different things and love you for loving your thing, and they love you for loving your thing.
Yeah, it's true.
The CrustyBunkers, like when I hear that story, it's just cool because as a fandom, you just start imagining the guy. Like you start making your own movie in your head. Guys are coming in. But I do think it's cool that there is a place, and that's what the CrustyBunkers, I think, can be, is another place where creatives can come together and make something. And it's not about you can't find the books, and it's really cool when you see the books and it says inked by the CrustyBunkers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like saying the X-Men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, or
Kinda
something like that.
Yeah.
I just think that on July 13th, I think that everyone needs to come down, see what we have coming, meet some new friends, meet some new people you can celebrate stuff you love with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Another nice thing that's kind of going on with this stage of the store is, our doors are open. I mean, anybody can come in at any time and see us now. We're very open to, advice. What would you like to see in the store? We're constantly asking people, if you guys have anything you think we should have in the store, let us know. We write it down, send it off to, the people in the New York office who are, in charge of ordering stuff for us, or if there's a section we want to add, things we could do there. Because we're going to have a big open space there too, that's where we're talking about doing things like maybe doing art lessons, or maybe we'll do a life drawing thing one night, or maybe even put in a projection screen so we have a big wall. Or maybe have a night where we'll screen a movie, some old movie. And we want to have fun with it. We want it to be open to do a lot of stuff. And like I said, that space is kind of a floating space where we can do different things with it. We'll probably have, shelves on casters so that we can move things out of the way and do it. We're talking about doing gaming nights where people can come in and, have their card tournaments and stuff like that. So it's a living, breathing thing that we're trying to create there that can change. We've always toyed with the idea of selling things like, what does Neal Adams work with? What tools does Neal Adams like? So the fan or even the other artist who's interested say, how does Neal get that line? Well, these are the pens that Neal uses. These are the pencils, and sometimes they're really boring. I mean, Neal pencils with a regular number 2 secretary pencil. That's his. You could give him all the art pencils in the world, and he'll pick up the number 2 secretary pencil. He pencils pages on Joe Kubert's school paper. you know, so we might carry that at the store. And have the pens he works with, different things like that, you know. And I know there has been talk about putting some art supplies in the store. So we're looking at a lot of different things that are cool fan stuff, things that fans might be interested in.
Well, we will have a lot of stuff. He's right. We're organic, moving things around. But the most important thing we need in the store is the community. We want people to be at the store. We want people to, like Joel was saying, is we really are listening to our audience. So if you have suggestions on, like, if I had a store, I would do this, let us know. I'm willing to hear 1,000 bad ideas to hear one good one. You know, and we want people in the store. We want the breadth of the community in there. So anyone who's listening to this podcast, come on down. Find the thing you love. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have it. We're open 11 to 7 right now, Tuesdays through Saturdays. We're most likely gonna be growing that. But like, I love anyone that comes through our doors, and I can't wait to talk to them about what's going on. I can't wait to find out who they are. You know, and I want to know your interest. Like, you know, you and your buddy are making that movie Noir. That's a great indie film. You do animation. I am got the most cake job right now. I actually am paying rent, hanging out with talented animators and comic book artists, and you know, the new fans on my level, guys that are because like, I've been in fandom since I was a kid. I still don't know everything that's out there, and every day I'm learning more and more and more. So I get to pay rent on how I used to pay my bills. Like I used to give money for this stuff, and now I'm getting I'm loving life.
Again, tell us where your store is, and
we are
all
at
the stuff.
4710 West Magnolia. That'd be between Ford and Ledge on Magnolia Boulevard, and Burbank, California. So we've got great people working there, and you'll never know who you'll see. And I think the bigger it gets, the more you'll probably see, because so much of the comic industry's moved out here now.
Yeah,
you know, you got Marvel and DC out here, and artists are all moving out here. So you know, you'll probably see people popping in.
Once again, it's if you're going to look on Facebook, it's Neal Adams Crusty Bunker, comics and toys, and then if you go to Instagram, it's just the Crusty Bunker. Follow us, you know, share it. We're going to be doing a lot of interesting stuff. We have some not official yet, but a lot of like really cool exclusive stuff we're like to be getting, especially for collectors and fans. You know, a lot of appreciation. It's definitely the place where creations meet appreciations.
Give it one more time when the big opening is. It's July
13th. It's going to be a Saturday, and it's easy to know. Just think of San Diego Comic-Con, the Saturday before the con. A pre-con to the con.
Okay, and Neal will be there.
Neal will be there.
So you can come out and meet the actual Neal Adams and all the other Adams that might be there too.
Yeah.
Like Joel Okay, well, I want to thank my guests here, Eric James and Joel Adams. Yeah, thanks for coming in and telling everybody about the CrustyBunkers and where we can visit the store and all that.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.